Alright. So here we are with the Bronze Silver League today, with Illumination versus Minior in the pick ban phase. Starting off with just a couple of simple bans, Lucian and Nami, both strong bot laners right now, although I'm not too sure on Nami myself. It looks like Minior has lost a ban. As we wait on the next, Lucian in general in the bot lane is pretty based around getting that pressure he needs. And once he gets that snowball, he can bring it into late game and just really burst everyone down. We once again have Minior dropping a ban. As we wait to see what Illumination also selects as their ban with a brand as a strong burst reliant mage in the middle lane. Usually based around just blowing someone up and then running around and waiting on the cooldowns to return. We see Minior once again not getting a ban, it looks like. And after this goes through, we get to see the first 3 picks. And all right, let's see. So let's see what Bisharp decides to pick here. As Zyra. Alright, so I'm gonna assume that this is Zyra support over Zyra mid. Zyra support is all about getting control in the lane. If Zyra is just able to get that control that she needs, then literally not really anyone can deal with it, because the plants will be everywhere covering the area. But if it is Zyra mid, then it's a bit different. As Zyra mid is a little bit more based around... Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Wait, was I just talking to myself? Oh my god. Okay, now I'm live. Alright. Okay. So now that I'm actually live and not talking to myself like an idiot, we do see the pick ban phase going through, and now I have to go through everything I said. So, oh, okay, that's my bad. Okay, I was confused. Either way, now I have to go over some of these things again. So it does look like it is Zyra support, as they pick up the Yasuo mid, and Trundle either in the jungle or the top lane. And we see on the side of Minior taking Shen top, Gragas jungle, and Veigar mid. picking up the Jinx ban. Jinx, a strong DPS in the late game with Get Excited especially, giving that giant movement speed boost that she will need to catch up to the opponents that are running away from the fight. Xayah taken down, strong burst DPS, just overall well-rounded right now. Alright. Oh Jesus, there's a lot to cover. We see the last ban on Minior's side being a Darius, strong team fighter, and pretty big lane bully in the top lane with his passive hemorrhage DPS. And a Morgana ban coming out from Illumination to really just kind of shut down anything that the bot lane wants. Trying to make sure, but it's actually quite amazing as Illumination went for 4 bot lane bans. So that means there's definitely something that they don't want Minior to have. And it looks like it's a bottom lane. Looks like Minior did drop 3 of their bans though in the first phase. And they pick up Caitlyn, which is good for outranging everyone. And just nailing them over and over with these damage and high crits, guaranteed crits, extra damage. So much garbage coming your way that is just not fair. Misfortune picking up is a nice and simple lethality pick, but it looks like it might be Misfortune support if this guy actually goes Sever. No, because Zyrus. I'm confused on this pick. Oh no, it's Jax. Okay. That means it's Jax top. So we see in the lane matchups right now, we have Jax facing Shen, Trundle facing Gragas, Yasuo facing Veigar, MF versus Caitlyn, well, MF Zyra versus Caitlyn Janna. So it looks like that the plan for top right now, Bisharp is basically going to have to try and win the trades, get his counter timing right, and sort of work around Shen's block. Because if he goes in while Shen has his block open, then he's not really going to win the trade, as most of his damage comes out from basic attacks. Shen, what he's going to be looking to do is he's going to be waiting for Jax to go in, and then once Jax goes in, he's going to pop the block, and after the block comes out, he just will probably end up looking for a taunt, or he'll try to engage with a taunt and then pop the block as Jax tries to run away. The trades will be kind of boring, and overall not that fun to watch, actually. It's mostly just going to be trading autos. Trundle and Gragas, we're probably going to see a bit of aggressive play there. Gragas having pretty high gank potential in comparison to Trundle, but I believe that Trundle does have better... what's the word? Sustain. Trundle has better sustain than Gragas does because of his passive, and usually what he builds. I'm not too sure about jungle though. Yasuo Veigar, this comes down to laning phase mostly. What the Rune Mage wants to do here against Hot Cold Man is just shut him down early so that way Veigar can not get the stacks. And if Veigar does not get those stacks, then he won't have the late game that is required to play Veigar. And but the Rune Mage also has to take a giant risk by going in. And usually Veigar is going to be playing sort of in the back, so it's going to be rough, and he might need Trundle to help out. This bot lane looks like it's going to be based around zoning and control, with Caitlyn dropping traps everywhere, trying to just keep them away from her, but Zyra also setting up a wall of plants. And with this giant wall of damage just spewing everywhere, it might be a bit rough for Caitlyn and Janna, but the Janna shield will help a lot, granting the small attack speed boost in the shield that they might need here. Overall, I'm looking at these comps, they're a bit interesting, but what I'm thinking Minior's looking for more of a team fight late game, as Caitlyn's just going to be sitting in the back getting shields from Janna while Shen or Gragas engages, and Veigar also sits in the back with Caitlyn just firing off stuns, W's, Q's, and all sorts of just massive burst. But the problem is that if Illumination just destroys them in laning phase, then Minior's going to have a really tough time actually getting through anything at this rate. Oh, okay. That's actually probably me. Mine's a bit quiet. So pretty soon we're going to be able to go over the runes that they have selected. Yeah, that I can't. I've tried making my microphone louder. But the runes that they've selected, we're going to see mostly the keystones are going to be what's important, but also the secondary tree, granting that small change in stats and just overall an interesting pick. So we're probably going to have to see what that's up with later. But we do see that Illumination's going for a much more aggressive bot lane. They're trying to be dominant. They're trying to take the kills early. With Grim Lobo taking Ignite over Exhaust, that means they're looking for blood, and that's really the kind of decision that they want to make. As Terrier Mare playing Misfortune is just Misfortune's better in the early to mid game, but when she gets to late game, she's more of just a DPS that kind of sits there and doesn't do as much as she could be, despite the power that her ulti brings with that giant cone. It's loading in right now. Can't see anything. So, really, this game's going to be heavily determined after the laning phase on basically whether or not which team dominates. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like Illumination might get what they want with Trundle, simply because popping that pillar really limits the mobility that they already don't have much of. Granted, Gragas does have a dash, and so does Shen, but outside of that, everyone else is pretty slow overall, except for Janna. So really the main point here is that they're just trying to get in, and once Illumination gets in, it's really going to be tough for Minior to get out. So we do see Trundle with the press the attack. I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to take on Trundle in the jungle. I'm really unsure about that entirely. But I feel like that is definitely a good option. That means he's going to be a bit more aggressive, as he's going to be wanting trades, as press the attack is zero effect on the monsters. Jack's taking the grasp with Shen taking Aftershock. That means that Killing Shade is actually really confident in his Shen to land the taunts. And getting these taunts is actually really important. And if he's confident that he can do so, especially with the Aftershock, he's going to be able to take all sorts of damage that should be mitigated away from Veigar and Caitlyn. Misfortune and Zyra taking Comet, looking for that poke. They're trying to take him down to the HP they need, and then just going in with an engage that Caitlyn and Janna cannot deal with. Caitlyn taking Fleet Footwork, though, to try and get that extra healing, movement speed, and I think damage, I'm not sure. Oh, wait, that's not good. Okay. I have run across an issue. No, yeah, the spec bug. Hold on, let me find you. I can spectate from you. Okay. I got the spectator bug. No! Ah. Why does everything always go wrong when it doesn't need to? Either way, I get a good look at this once again. We see Veigar taking the area and inspirations in secondary, meaning Hot Cold Man is playing a bit passive. He doesn't really trust himself with these stuns as much as he should be. And inspiration, I'm not really sure what that would get, but getting that just those little extra items and miscellaneous things that are really small really help out in the laning phase, which he needs to survive in. But Rune Mage looking to take these long trades where he just goes in and whacks on Veigar several times over with his giant sword. I don't know, it's pretty long. And yeah, but both of the mid laners took Ignite, so Hot Cold Man's looking to pop that Ignite a lot in the late game, as we see the game does start right here. And it's gonna be a grand old time here as it loads in. Everything else outside of what I noted is fairly standard, to my knowledge. Jax with Grasp, I don't know about that. I don't know if he should go Conqueror, press the attack, or Aftershock instead. I'm assuming not Aftershock, though. But it means that he's looking for a bit more of a tanky build, as he went down Resolve as the main tree, and taking Grasp for the healing and trades. The movement has begun, as everyone goes around, looking for the spots they need, trying to get the vision, and getting that early vision, and maybe even getting an invade. An invade is honestly, I don't think either team would want that right now. But if a team would, it would be Illumination, as I think they just have a superior level 1. Uh, well, the game has been paused. Chill hasn't loaded in the Gragas. As we take a second to wait, I'm gonna have some water real fast. Just have Trundle DC and we play. I'm good. I can probably go over this stuff. I just might have to take a few breaks every once in a while to have some water.
A summoner has disconnected.
And we are back here with the Bronze Silver League. Sorry for that minor pause we had. Childori, the Gragas on Team Minior, had connection issues, and his client would not let him connect back to the game that he disconnected from. League of Legends is a great game with a coat of spaghetti. So we see once again just some movement around, looking to see if they can find anyone, get an early look at their items. But outside of that, nothing much. We do see that Hot Cold Man decided to take Stopwatch as his rune. No, excuse me. And the laning phase begins. So what we're really looking for here is just trying to get that lead early from Illumination. And if Illumination doesn't get that lead, they're going to have a rough time bringing it back. So the thing is that if Minior gets behind in the early game, all they have to do is try to keep it even or not get too far behind. Because if Minior doesn't get that far behind, it's not bad. But we do see a small trade here in the top lane with Killing Shade and Bisharp simply trading autos. But Bisharp started with his counter as his choice, so that way he wouldn't take some of these auto attacks. In the bottom lane, just a little bit of poking going on, nothing too interesting other than CSing. And just overall, alright play we see happening around here. The Trundle has pathed from blue, and it looks like he's either going for Raptors, Krugs, or red. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm going to assume red. We do see a small movement and chase at the middle lane, down by the Raptor camp, but nothing actually happening. Now, once again, small trades going around. Just all sorts of little things happening, and all these little things eventually connect together. Like that Q that Temerir, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just gonna say Temer. That Temer just got did half of Tyler's HP, and now he has to burn the rest of his potions, which he only had one of, but still. We do see Hot Cold Man starting to take a little bit of the aggressive side in the laning phase, kind of trying to abuse that he is a better level 3 than Rune Mage does, but not really getting it out as he doesn't have the damage output. We do see that Bisharp has already used 2 stacks in the Corrupting Pot, which is not that good, as he's going to have to try and sustain for a bit longer, but he needs to start winning these trades with Killing Shade, because all he's doing is burning his potions while he's at it, not playing the trades as properly as he needs to. Hot Cold Man does get the stun on Rune Mage, but it looks like his Q hits the wind wall, and Rune Mage does not decide to press up into the tower, as that would mean certain death. We do see that Trundle has passed all the way from blue to red to Raptors to Wolves, and is now looking for Swamp. This means he's either going to back or try to invade an empty jungle that Childori has. Childori has taken a very similar route, but not the same, where he went from blue into his topside jungle. Oh, we do see a trade coming out from Hot Cold Man and the Rune Mage, getting the kill with the Ignite in the Q, taking the first blood on Minior's side. Really something I didn't expect to happen in the middle lane, especially with Hot Cold Man, but we do see a gank coming in with Z-Man GS with the Frozen Domain and the Pillar, getting it off, but tanking tower and almost losing his life. Killing Shade looking like he wanted to get Z-Man Gs, but not really getting what he wanted there. But Killing Shade does now have the, he does have a level advantage right now, so he might be able to take down Bisharp in this lane. Hot Cold Man getting a nice early lead with the Amp Tomes. And now he has a little bit more of a damage output than he would normally have. Bisharp fishes for a trade and Killing Shade dashes out. Nothing unusual here. And within that trade that happened in the mid lane between Rune Mage and Hot Cold Man got a lot out of it. We see more poking down here in the bottom lane. Nothing much to happen. Jungle pathing though, it looks like they're both kind of converging near the bottom side of the map, looking for a gank at either the middle lane or the bottom lane. Hot Cold Man getting a bit aggressive with trying to take down that ward. But we do see Z-Man GS coming in with the Frozen Domain and Pillar, giving the Rune Mage the third Q that he needs, but not getting anything off of it. Oh, excuse me. Childori chooses to back, Well, it looks like Z-Man-G is either going to take his Krugs and go back bot, but Rune Mage gets a small trade on Hot Cold Man, while more things happen in the bottom lane. But we do see all the trades end quickly, and we're going to have to see if Z-Man-GZ wants to actually go for Drake or go for bottom lane, but it looks like he might just go for Raptors and Recall, if anything. Killing Shade trying to push up. And it looks like Minior's going for the strategy that I really didn't expect, which is getting an early lead so that Illumination can't get that early lead they need. Which is definitely a way to go about it. It's going to be a bit more difficult than just simply trying to keep it even or below, but it's definitely what they should aim for. It's more of a risk-reward idea, is how I'd like to look at it. What they're trying to do is they're really like, they're trying to dash for a biscuit before Illumination does, but Illumination has like, they start like a foot further. So it's just going to be a little bit rough. We do see both tops. Oh no, Z-Man-G's coming in with a good pillar and Frozen Domain. Hot Cold Man is taken down after a really well played gank by Z-Man-G's and the Rune Mage. All going in for a nice trade in mid lane and giving the lead to the Rune Mage rather than dropping the lead, which is actually great because now Z-Man-G also has the gold lead over Childori. And with that kind of power, he can just start going in, but we do see a bit of trading going on in the bottom lane and the top lane. Not much happening in the top or bottom lane, though, outside of minor damage. But we do see that Vadalini is out of mana right now, so she cannot pop any more shields. And right now, Tyler is not in the best condition right now, and eventually they need to back soon. And what they're doing right now is giving Illumination that free push they want, and getting that push is what they also need, while also tying up this gold lead that Minior had. Hot Cold Man looking to take this ward for once in his life, but it doesn't look like it's happening in this lifespan. We see a little bit of a chase here in the top lane, with the converging of junglers trying to go around for a fight. Z-Man-G's getting the pillar and the block, coming in with the counter, stunning Childori. Childori has to flash out, and he gets flashed on, but the Shenalty does go through, and he's able to get Childori out of there, is what it's looking like. But Bisharp might be able to get the stun on Killing Shade, and now Killing Shade has to attempt an escape. But he gets Z-Man-G's, and Childori goes in with the body slam while Killing Shade flashes out for a kill, and Hot Cold Man shows up trying to take down the Rune Mage once again. They're really going for the gold right here, and none of them really seem to get it, but absolutely amazing play by Minior there. They had to burn 2 flashes, but in the end they got the gold they wanted, and now they're just kind of trying to snowball that lead. And now that Killing Shade has more gold, he can use that to his advantage, while Bisharp still doesn't have a full Triforce. It does look like Childori is just going to go back to farming. Probably won't take much outside of Krugs before backing, though. We do see that a few more items were picked up here. Now, Childori is going for red buff, which I'm not sure is safe, but he does have smite up, so it's fine. And, so overall, just kind of the standings in the lane right now. Top lane is winning on Meteor's side. Jungle is winning also on Minior's side, but a trade comes in with a nice knock-up and ulti by the Rune Mage, but Hot Cold Man able to flash out before anything bad happens. That was probably decent by Bisharp, but the problem is that he had left his lane wide open, and now Killing Shade is kind of coming back from that mid CS lead that Bisharp had. Z-Man-G's picks up the Cinder Hulk, so it looks like he's going for a tankier build. But we do see a root come out at the bottom lane, nothing much outside of poke though. Tyler is just going, trying to keep away. They did back like I expected them to, and they're just trying to keep it at a standstill. Killing Shade though, going in with a bit of a risky play, taking that ward, able to get out with the block and the taunt, but now both his Q, W, and the air on cooldown, while Childori has to escape from it. Very poor trade, and Vadalini might lose his life here. Fortunately, they flash out before Temur can actually get the ulti off, but now they have a problem. They have to defend this tower from taking large amounts of damage. And they might just have to leave it at this point because Z-Man-G is still down there. Killing Shade looking to escape Bisharp, but Bisharp getting the stun, but Killing Shade just gets the block. You do see more poking going around on the bottom lane, but no actual killings happening. Minior is doing a great job. Oh, the ulti comes in to deal that damage they need to sort of bring closer the rope. They're trying to bring it in. I don't know what to say there, honestly. I tried to think of something. Grim Lobo getting a decent Q off. And everything just resets sort of to a neutral state, but it does look like Z-Man G is trying to take the dragon right now. And that's really probably a good option, especially since he definitely has the ability to solo it. Small trades going around everywhere, nothing too big, honestly. We are seeing that Illumination gets the Ocean Drake, which is really good for that early game that they needed the lead on to take down Minior. But that Ocean Drake might not be enough for the passive healing. But in theory, it should definitely give them a little bit of a boost. And they're not very far behind on gold. And actually they're ahead right now, which is kind of a surprise from that Drake. So now what Illumination is looking to do is they're trying to just, kind of go around, get these objectives. And if they get the objectives, they can then make a harder push later on with the gold that they got from the items. But Childery getting a bit caught out, the Rune Mage dashing through, not getting anything out of it, as they do get control of the Rift Scholar. Illumination now has their eyes set on the Rift Herald, as Rift Herald will only be open for the next 7 or so minutes. And really what they're looking here is, if they can get a Rift Herald, they can get that early push that they need, that I was just talking about earlier. We see more farming, not so much of poking, just a few things going around, and backing and getting items, all sorts of things. Childery picking up the Dark Seal, which is kind of unexpected, honestly, especially since he hasn't really been getting much of a KDA. Not that there's much of a KDA to see here. Really what Minior's doing is what they want. We do see a bit of a trade in the top lane, but no stuns really coming out. But Killing Shade is looking to get the extra autos in, as Grim Lobo pops the ulti on Tyler and Vadalini. Back at the top lane, counters and blocks everywhere. No damage is really taken. In the mid lane, a gank comes out by Z-Man GS, getting a nice ulti on Hot Coldman, but he pops the stopwatch just before he can take any major damage, as Childery appears to not do a gank so well, and they might lose. Vadalini is down. Childery might die. There he goes. Tyler, the only one escaping without any mana, with a trade that went totally in Illumination's favor. Illumination got what they wanted there. And really, we see just more trading in the top lane, but nothing happens because these two can block basic attacks for about the same amount of time. Hot Coldman does get the stun QW that he wants, but nothing outside of that. We finally see Tyler picking up the Storm Razor, and with this Storm Razor and Fleet Footwork, he's able to move around more. But we also see Z-Man going around, taking that Rift Herald that I was talking about, getting that lead they want, and Illumination also getting the first tower at the bottom lane, really just grasping that lead that they want. And now that they're getting this early lead, it might be insanely difficult for Minior to actually apply themselves here and get outside of the situation that they put themselves in. However, they do have the more powerful late game, as Bisharp really falls off and is forced to become a tank. Temer's damage goes down a lot, Grim Lobo's damage goes down a lot, and the Rune Mage is just, he's basically gonna have to carry it if it goes to late game. Jungle movement and pathing is also pretty important here. Killing Shade might die here though, with Bisharp getting the little poke damage that he wants. Rune Mage trying to go in on Hot Coldman, but only getting the Q off. So we do see Childery coming in with a gank in the top lane. It looks like Killing Shade might be looking for something here, but Childery's just probably only going to get a Q and a couple autos off. But he does have the body slam on, and Bisharp flashes away in fear of anything else happening. So, now that they have Rift Herald, they already have a turret, and really they're just getting what they want here with Illumination. And Illumination really just has the power that they need, but they need to keep that power. They need to store it up, because if they do not, Minior does have the ability to come back from this. And if Minior does, then it's just going to be a lot worse for Illumination, as they're not only going to be more tilted, probably, that they somehow started losing, but they're just going to be having a bit of a rough time, as their damage output will have noticeably decreased. Rune Mage getting a lot of damage on the tower at mid lane. Hot Cold Man just having to kind of zone him out. But Hot Cold Man is doing a lot better than I expected him to have, especially playing against the Yasuo, who is not only able to block his Q, but he does get the QW off, not doing as much as he wanted. Rune Age really just has to abuse that he has a powerful wind wall and a range knockup that is bigger than everything Veigar has outside of Event Horizon. Looks like Childeri's looking to get something here in the mid lane, but he's caught by Z-Man and the Rune Mage as he gets the nice ulti off, with Hot Cold Man zones him off with an Event Horizon, popping the W just to get a little bit of extra damage. B-Sharp came down just to kind of appear as a backup, and it looks like that Illumination's trying to run it down mid right now, as the bottom lane also shows up and trying to take a tower. With the Rift Herald coming out, that will most definitely take the tower with its low HP. And it goes down, now they want to trade. They want to trade, but Minior just gets out right before that Rift Herald goes in. But now they might lose this second turret, as Illumination still has good siege with that Rift Herald coming in. While tanking the tower, the Veigar stun drops down and the tower loses half its HP. Overwhelming victory for Illumination. They just got the tower and half the tower. They had to burn Rift Herald and a bit of... They lost a push lead in top, but they still kept it in the bottom lane. So right now they are keeping that lane advantage. And with this lane advantage, they're just going to be strong. We do see Teleport coming down at the bottom lane, and it looks like they're trying to converge around and take something. But they might only be able to clear the wave here. We do see just a bit more movement, resetting back to a more neutral state, as Illumination gets the second Ocean Drake. And a third one will be next. And if Minior doesn't get that Ocean Drake instead of Illumination, that just might be it. Illumination might be able to take it from there with the power of the objectives they have, having taken 2 turrets, 2 Drakes, and a Rift Herald. Minior's going to have to sort of wait this out and hope that Illumination makes more mistakes on the movement and overall pathing. But it's looking like that they're not really optimizing how much they get off of everything. It does look like B-Sharp is going to get major damage on the turret, maybe even taking it with Killing Shade coming in and missing the taunt, but it doesn't look like that B-Sharp is going to try and go in and risk his entire life just for that turret. Which might have been a good idea, since B-Sharp doesn't really have a bounty, but it would put him on the death timer, and he can just push in later. We see some people starting to finish up their boots, especially on Minior's side. Some trades going around, nothing too bad. Childeri hopping in though. Not getting anything outside of getting pillared. So, it does look like Rune Mage is going for a Phantom Dancer and probably an IE after that, since that's just what's good on Yasuo at the moment. And Bisharp has finished his Trinity Force. Childeri just kind of guessed with that Q, and since he was correct, they think that that bush is warded. So now they have. So right now, Illumination has to abuse that they have total control. And if they do not use that they have absolute control over the whole map right now, then they're really just not going to get that far. But we do see that they have an absurd lead. They have both, not only the kill lead, but also the objective lead, as it looks like they're probably going to get another turret up in the top lane, and Bisharp's going to go for a trade on Killing Shade. While Killing Shade just kind of runs away, hoping that he doesn't take that much damage, having the ability to get out. Looking for a little bit of damage on B Sharp, but not looking like a smart move as he's just taking more and more, and he might be going down, having to flash out, but Sharp flashing in, getting the QW, not the QW, the auto W he needs to take down Killing Shade and press that lane even harder, forcing someone else to go to the top lane and leave the middle lane to the rest of his team. It looks like that actually the Sharp's going to go back and take their red, and then either go back top or group with the rest of his team at the middle lane, as it does look like they might be trying to set up for a Baron play here. And that Baron should be most of the game. All sorts of crazy stuff going around, players dropping like flies. And by that I mean never dying because they're just either way too tanky or not playing in the front like they shouldn't. So we do see that Childori does pick up a Knight's Vow, which in my opinion was an interesting choice, although not a bad one, as it means that he's definitely going to be going for more of a tank, and he's going to be trying to defend probably either Hot Cold Man or Tyler more. We do see that he did trade movement speed for it, though, with the boots. Vision is really just a prominent factor right now, as despite the lead that Illumination has, they do not have much vision in the enemy jungle. They have vision on Baron, one bush, and around the blue area. And then they have River, and that's about it. So what Illumination wants here is able to just get more of that control that they need. And Minior's kind of dropping the ball here. They're not getting anything they need or what they want, but what they are doing is prolonging the game so that Hot Cold Man can have a higher damage output and eventually be able to nearly one-shot almost everyone on the enemy team. Does look like he's getting pressed in right now, as there is a wave at top for Minior, but they're also getting pressed in at the bottom lane. And overall right now, Illumination getting the plays they need, but not really the plays they want. Because it looks like what they want to do is just take him down. Hot Cold Man getting a nice stun on the Rune Mage there, not getting anything off of it though, outside of just small poke damage that it looks like he's going to heal off. Just more trades everywhere, but nothing ending in anything, which is quite surprising. We've only seen 6 total kills in this game, whereas, oh no, we do see a good circle, and the ulti does pop up Hot Cold Man, as Hot Cold Man gets a nice take on Grim Lobo, but that could have been a lot better for them, especially since that was only the support, who can only really provide small amounts of DPS and a little bit of crowd control. And now he has to go back. He did get a good amount of gold for that, though. And, from what I'm seeing here, Hot Cold Man is... he's doing alright. He's doing what he needs. He actually, he has the kills and gold he wants, but he needs more of it. He needs just the game to last longer. If he can get this thing to last about 10 more minutes, probably more like 15, actually, without really losing much, he's gonna have so much power that Illumination might not be able to deal with it, honestly. We do see a lot of movement around this third Ocean Drake, as Minior does want this, and they do need it. Illumination doesn't necessarily need it, but it would definitely be important keeping Minior down on the ground and kicking them while they're out. And that's really the main point that Illumination wants. They just want to kick them while they're down. And if Minior just doesn't get the power that they really need, then Illumination is just going to keep kicking. And Minior can't do anything about it. They do have control, as Childori is weak calling as an interesting choice. And that Ocean Drake does go towards Illumination with absolute control over objectives. And now that they have the Ocean Drake, they can almost always win the neutral, like kind of the neutral state of the game, as they go around and split out lanes, force them in, and from there just work around what they need. The most important factor here is definitely going to be time. Because if Illumination spends too much time screwing around and just kind of getting farm, trying to push the lane and only getting small amounts of damage to a tower, they're not going to get anything done. And Minior wants that. If Minior gets that, they can just get the damage they need. Tyler will get enough gold to get the items that he wants. Hot Cold Man will get the stacks and items. Killing Shade will get more tank. Vadalini will get more support items for shield and healing. And just overall, everything that they will want as Illumination's just gonna keep declining. Oh, we do see B-Sharp get a good stun, but taking several tower shots in the process. But the middle lane tower does go down as Killing Shade, sort of being the main tank for the team, not being able to be there. But he does have teleport, and oh, we do see a 4-man gank going in on Killing Shade, having dashed and flashed out. Trying to get out of there. Illumination looking for this bottom tower, but Minior trying to show up and say, no, you can't do this. But we do see Z-Man going in, but the Zyra ulti and the Misfortune ulti coming in, getting massive amounts of damage as it gets healed up by Janna, going down, dropping the stun, getting 2 people as they take down Grimlobo. Z-Man G is getting chased by Killing Shade right now, and they do get to take him out with the overall winning trade for Minior. So Minior's finally getting these things. They're getting that lead. And if Minior keeps getting the lead that they want like this, then, well, not a lead, but really the evenness of the game. If they want to keep it even at the very minimum. And if Minior keeps doing this and just stalls it out for a bit longer, then they will have power. We do see that some items were picked up, though, as some interesting choices, as Minior does look for a top tower, gets the stun and the knockup, but B-Sharp is going in, trying to get at least a kill out of this, while also not losing his tower, but he does get ignited and takes some damage. We do see a mid lane push coming out from Illumination, Temur taking a few tower shots for this thing. They just really want it, but it looks like they are going to get it, with Minior making the poor decision of sending 3 people down to the bottom lane. No. That looks like 4 actually. They sent 4 down. Well, only B-Sharp was down there. Which was just a terrible play, as now they have their middle lane open. But that is the most dangerous inhibitor to go for, as there's just more flank spots, and there's overall more openings. And Illumination's gonna have to win a trade to really get that in him, so what they're gonna have to do is try to push these side lanes out. We do see Killing Shade trying to go in and gets nothing. Chillery also trying to go in, but at the same time not really getting anything out of it, other than getting damage to Vadalini. We do see just more movement, as it looks like Illumination is beginning to try and set up for the Baron play. But they're going to need to really just push out these side lanes and the mid lane as really an auto push. And if they just kind of get enough that they need, group that power up, they are definitely going to be able to split it around and take the tower's objectives, inhibs, everything they want. But it does look like they're backing to get that HP back. Oh no, that's Minior, sorry. Minior looks like they're backing to try and get that HP back, but that might not be a good choice, because if Illumination knows that they are all back, then they can go take that Baron, especially since they have enough vision around the Baron. But it looks like they are just going to be looking for the top tower. But getting this tower is what they need. They're trying to set up a fight, and when they win this fight, they should have enough players left over to take the Baron. But Minior is going to try their hardest to just keep that from not happening. More stuff happening between Killing Shade and B-Sharp, and by that I mean absolutely nothing happening. It's like 2 5-year-olds trying to hit each other with pool noodles until eventually one falls over. And it just doesn't work until one of them gets tired and falls over because they tripped. But, it does look like B-Sharp is going to get this tower in the bottom lane that he wants. And B-Sharp might be able to kill Killing Shade, taking him down, getting the push lead, and now someone from Minior has to go down and bot and cover B-Sharp while they leave the rest of their team up at the top lane trying to defend from more people. And that's what Illumination needs, and once they get that, they can go take that Baron. They might not even need that, actually. If they can get that, if they can just get a nice enough fight that they can just straight up push it down top lane, in the middle, top lane and the bottom lane, they might just be able to straight up end the game, but I wouldn't really see it, as that would have to be an absurd victory. As we do see a lot of damage getting taken. Vadalini almost going down, needing to flash out, getting taken down from the burn. Tyler getting way too far up, as there's not only zero tank, but zero support to help them out. As, now they're just getting what they need, as they did trade their jungler though. So now they do not have the ability to take Baron as easily without Childori going up there and stopping it. But the thing is that Illumination is now getting the push, as it looks like they got an inhib at the bottom lane, and now that lane will auto push, and they really have to keep someone down there on Minior's end. So now Illumination's pushing that early lead they got, and really just bringing in the objectives that they got in the early game into late game. If they get another tower, and they're just converging and slowly beating down Minior into a little pulp. They're processing it, and they do get the Infernal Drake, although Killing Shade tries to take it and doesn't get anything. So now an important factor, if the game lasts long enough, would be Elder, because really what Illumination wants right now, Baron and Elder Drake, and then they can, or just winning fights. They just need to win stuff. They need to instigate things. They need to make things happen. And by doing that, they all they leave Bisharp over to push a lane, as he does have teleport open. And then they have the rest of their team likely go top. And Bisharp will probably continue pushing the bottom lane while they just get the objectives they need at the top lane, and then switch over to mid to take the inhibitor. And they all converge around the Nexus, is what they would want. We do see Vadalini getting caught out in a terrible spot that they don't need to be in, but they needed the wards on the Baron. The Rune Mage almost going down, but getting the wind wall that he needs just in time to stop the Caitlyn ulti. Honestly, Illumination it's looking like they're going to be trying to take the game here soon. Because if they don't take the game within a few minutes, they might drop this. They just might not be able to get anywhere. But we do see Minior just trying their hardest to defend, but the problem is that they just can't. They just need more damage output. But we do see that Illumination is going around to the Baron, starting to take it, as we see no contest from Minior's side. And from the looks of it, they're starting to make movements, but they're only looking for Bouchard, as Illumination has this Baron completely secured now. And now Minior has a problem. They need to win a fight that they're behind in. The problem is that they're automatically behind in stats and goals, so Illumination, as long as they don't mess anything up here, can use this Baron to effectively win the game, as now their minions super buff. They're much more powerful. Bishar is getting that top lane that he wants, while the rest of the team is just going around and trying to take some players down. And really, this is what they want. If they keep doing enough of this, Minior has to try and either run out the Baron or win a giant fight that they probably wouldn't, simply because they don't have the positioning and output they have. Hot Coldman trying to get something, but Remage looking like he doesn't Mercs it, not a Merc, a Quicksilver Sash to get out of it. Oh, strong ulti out by Temer, almost killing Chillidori, but he flashes out last second and taking down the Rune Mage. B-Sharp does get a kill in. Killing Shade looking to get the worthless trades in the pool noodle fight on Bisharp, while the rest of the fight happens, and Illumination has won the fight, taking down 3 players and looking to get the Nexus. Here at the end of the game, Illumination taking it through with an overwhelming victory in their favor. Okay. That was an interesting game, and I really feel like what Minior just didn't have the comp they wanted. And what I'd try to switch out Childori for a different kind of jungler, honestly. I'm not sure exactly what, as I'm unsure on the meta right now. I'm really confused on it right now. But good play by Illumination, just abusing that lead and getting a lot off of it. and Minior having to take that defeat and go on to game 2 and try to run it back with a reverse sweep. Whoa. So now we are going to have to take a second as we do set up the second game in this little series that we have going on here. And just we're probably going to have a few changes coming up. Minior's going to have to try a different strategy as they now know that Illumination is going to be going for the early game to snowball it into late game. So we're going to have to see in the next game, and I'll see you in a bit.
Every child in Valiant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of every child in Valiant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear and would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end.
All right, and we are back for the Bronze Silver League series. I believe this is the playoff, as we have currently in Game 2 with Illumination taking a devastating victory. Just complete domination, really. We do see that, oh wait, did they switch sides? I hate it. I hate when that happens. Well, we do see Minior once again having to drop 3 bans, mostly because of E-subs. But, we do see an Anivia ban, which I think is quite an interesting choice since Anivia is not really a top pick or anything. Nor did I really see anything going wrong. Also, I'm really angry because I just looked at Z-Mags' name and I have been reading it. So, apologies to you if you review these VODs. We see a Lucian ban come out again. I'm just gonna assume that Illumination's afraid of a Lucian that Minior has or something. Or Lucian's just a really good pick. I'm not sure myself on that one. Minior dropped its 3rd ban once again. Illumination trying to pick up that 3rd ban. Making sure that Minior has limited options. Once again banning Nami. They're probably going to go for similar bans they went for last game as it seemed to work. Killing Shade last game decided to pick up the Shen. But this game, I'm kind of interested. I wonder what he's going to want this time around. Especially since the Shen worked okay, but it could have definitely done better. And he's going for the Darius, which means Minior might be going for a much more aggressive approach this time around that Illumination did. Illumination once again picking up the Zyra. It worked really well last time. Nothing necessarily went wrong when Grimlobo was playing Zyra last game. We do get to see Z-Mags once again picking Trundle. Minior might be going for the same team composition as they did last game. As it worked pretty well, had decent synergy, and they took the game with it. But Minior's here now that they've had some time to think about the strategies. But once again, Childori picking up the Gragas is, I think, is an interesting option. I feel like there just might be some better tank junglers out there. The Gragas pick, so we're not seeing too much necessarily different from the last game, but now we're starting to see some different picks with Minior especially. As Illumination goes to get their 3rd pick of the first phase. Killing Shade is, I don't really know his lane matchup, so I don't know how bad this could be. Illumination has the ability to just pick a counter, and Killing Shade might not have fun in his laning phase like Darius is supposed to. We do see that Illumination picks up Yasuo though. Once again, they might actually go for the same exact composition they had last game. Which means we might see Darius versus Jax in the top lane. As Minior only has 2 bans that they can actually whip out.
You too will be judged.
Sorry about some minor congestion issues. A bit of rain came through and some storms have been going through these past couple days. We do see the Jax ban coming out from Killing Shade. Like I sort of expected. I'm not really sure. That was mostly up to his team. And so it looks like Killing Shade does not want to go and lane against the Jax again, and wants to really see if Bisharp can do anything different. And he really wants to force Bisharp to do something different because Bisharp is pretty warmed up on Jax. We do see the Kai'Sa ban. Kai'Sa has pretty much since release been a strong AD carry. But I think only for a short period of time was she necessarily broken.
Come on.
We do see once again the Jinx ban coming out from Minior. Trying to just not letting that Jinx snowball happening. This Jinx is some of the hardest snowball. We do see the Xayah pick that was actually banned by Xayah was actually banned last game by Illumination. Which I find to be quite an interesting choice, and now they're picking it up. Ooh, a Jhin pick. I always love a Jhin pick. I'm not really sure the approach Minior is looking for this game. Taking Braum, but from the looks of it, they're going for a very interesting build. As I think what Meteor wants here is to have just so many tanks that Tyler can do literally whatever he for free. But that might be kind of hard with Yasuo having the mobility that he has up, especially if Grim Lobo picks up Shen for B Sharp, which makes the laning phase a bit more difficult for Killing Shade to get those early leads that he wants. We see the same exact matchup in the jungle with Childori versus Z-Mags. And Childori is just gonna have to play his cards better this time, as he did not play them to his best ability. Uh, we see the Galio come out in the middle lane by Puffin, which I believe is a sub actually. Yeah, that's a sub. Which is kind of unfortunate. Especially since Roommate just playing Yasuo and their team, their only AP is really Zyra. So I'm not too sure on this Galio pick, as in the later portions of the game, he's not going to be as powerful as he could be. But having the ability to shut down some people with the immense amount of crowd control, having 3 out of 4 abilities with the power to crowd control people. He's also picking up the Ignite, so it looks like he's going to be trying to kill people in this lane, but I'm not sure if he can actually beat the Rune Mage, especially since he's nice and warmed up on Yasuo, has some of the mechanics down, and is ready to do what he needs to. But in the bottom lane, we get to see a Jhin Braum combo, which basically comes down to they don't really want to fight until later. And once it gets to that little later spot, then when they fight, they do a lot. Braum will mostly just be trying to defend Jhin from all the plants and all the feathers that are going to be scattered throughout the lane. As throughout the whole time, there's going to be several little dots and pieces everywhere in that bottom lane that Tyler and Vadalini are just going to have to pay attention to. And if they don't, well, it just becomes a problem, and they might lose that lane. What probably the most interesting lane that might happen would be the top lane. With Killing Shade picking up Darius instead of Shen, and Bisharp effectively just taking the Shen instead. Um, I'm this matchup's kind of weird, but Shen basically just relies on Bisharp, not Darius, not being able to get these auto attacks in that he's going to be wanting for the hemorrhage stack, so he can get that damage. Like hemorrhage has so it's a large amount of base damage in the early game, and especially since it's DPS, it doesn't really feel like you're taking damage until later. So it's kind of like a I had an idea and I forgot it, but it's okay. We do see that Vadalini this time is going for an exhaust choice. Oh no, wait, hold on. Yeah, Vadalini went exhaust last time. Never mind. Not much of a change in Sonar spells from the looks of it. If any at all, actually, I don't think there was any at all. But really, I'm kind of looking at these compositions. Meteor is looking for much more of a team fight composition. They just want the power they need. They need Galio, Darius, and Gragas in the front line. Galio especially. If Galio is not in the front line, it is unlikely that they're going to do well in that fight. However, Illumination has the mobility back, except for Grim Lobo, but he doesn't need. Nor does Temer. But we're gonna be. This game's gonna be much more interesting than this one, and I feel like Illumination just dominated with a superior composition last game. Which, although not having 3 bans on Minior's side is definitely damaging, since they can't get rid of 3 major threats that Illumination has, they still have to use that they have to use their skill and just make it through this whole thing. We do see that we're beginning to load in, and we can talk about the runes and keystones. Having a little bit of waiting time on my end. But we get into the game, and now we can see what they're taking. It looks like Childori and Z-Mags are going for the same thing they went for last time, along with Rune Mage. Uh, Actually, it looks like Temur is also taking the same thing, along with Grim Lobo, where the only one who actually took a major change would have been Bisharp, but even that might not have changed since he took Grasp in the game beforehand as Jax. So we see Killing Shade here with the Darius going Conqueror, looking like he just wants to get those long trades, which is kind of obvious considering hemorrhages, especially if the hemorrhages still activate Conqueror, and getting that proc is what they need. Puffin in here with Resolve and Inspiration. Inspiration, I'd like to assume that they took Stopwatch, either Stopwatch or Water Walking Boot, not Water Walking Boots, Magical Footwear. Tyler in here with the Halo Blade Sorcery. Pretty generic start for Jin, as Halo Blades is appearingly one of the best choices you can take on him. We get the Braum in here with Vitalini coming with the Guardian Sorcery. Just trying to overall get what they want and keep that Jin protected. So, we want to look at like what the lanes want to do: aggressive, passive, farming, or roaming. From the looks of it, on in the top lane end, we want Bisharp. Bisharp is looking to just kind of stay there, get farm, not lose too much farm, and really just make sure nothing gets lost and have that global presence with his ulti and teleport. And I got the spectator bug again. This is great. Uh, yeah, all right. Uh, Middle lane. I'll spectate off you. No, spectator bugs are great. I do get to look at these things and actually be correct about them without having to guess, even though it was 5 seconds ago. I'm apparently terrible with short-term memory, but in the middle lane, this looks like it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty active, honestly. Puffin's going to be trying to go in, proc the aftershock, and really just get out after that. Probably like go in, drop a Q and an auto, and then taunt and run away with the power of the slow. But he might have to walk away while charging up the taunt just for some damage reduction, so Rune Mage can't get much. Yasuo's wind wall also does not have much to do in this laning phase overall. So Puffin might be looking for a bit more of a Puffin might want to roam a little bit into the bottom lane to just fire off an ulti and get in there and cause a fight that will eventually end in Minior's victory. The game is starting up, and in the bottom lane we have Jin Braum versus Zyra. Oh, that's gonna be annoying to say Zyra. Okay, try saying that 12 times fast. But either way, Zyra, I believe, is just going to be kind of scattering and trying to overload the minds of Jin and Braum, just making them kind of scared of everything and having to stay back and miss farm that they really should be getting because it's not that dangerous. But with that, they're going to be a bit aggressive with Grim Lobo also taking Knight, looking to get those kills early, looking to just fire off the damage, going with a similar idea as to last game, but with a bit more of a late game HP rather than an early to mid game with the pick of Xayah. Actually, pretty sure Xayah is more of a mid late. Not so sure about her early. But we do see no one's necessarily looking for an invade. They're just all positioned at the river, looking to get vision, but they're anything. And we get a good look on the starts. So it does look like that Puffin, without going down, going down inspiration, he did not take stopwatch. So looks like he. I'm probably gonna assume that he took water walking boots. Not water walk. Why do I keep saying that? Magical footwear, and I don't know. Maybe futures debt, futures market. I can't speak right now apparently, which is not a good thing as I'm going to be casting for probably the next 20 minutes, or 25, 30, whatever. But laning phase does start off. with Z-Mags starting in the top side, getting that red buff that he wants. And red buff is actually probably better for Trundle, just because getting the damage is what he wants. Just some really basic movement around the jungle. Z-Mag's waiting out the risk scuttle rather than going over, like taking raptors or something. Trying to get that early vision. So that way, it's going to be a bit more difficult for Childeroy to invade. And we didn't see many invasions in the last. We do see Puffin get off the taunt, but not getting much out of it. But Roommate does take a tower shot, and B Sharp is top lane's going about as I expected it to. Killing Shade getting those hemorrhage stacks, and B Sharp not being able to do anything about it. Back here in the game, we do see some movement around in the jungle with Z-Mag going towards the bot lane while Tyler and Valiant are. So he might be able to make a play here despite being level 2. He might be looking for the level 3, but it does look like that the Rune Mage is walking down, but he's walking back to his lane, so maybe not. Maybe they called it off. Something happened or another, or they just thought it wasn't safe. But we do see that bot lane's already taken the CS lead in Illumination's favor. What does that mean here? Hold on. No, that's Minior. Dang it. In Minior's favor. Which is pretty good considering that Jin is able to force shot and just sort of... Oh wait, but we do see Z-Mags coming into the bot lane, getting the chomp off on Tyler, but Vadalini having to take all this damage that he doesn't want while Killing Shade goes in on B Sharp in the top lane, getting the hemorrhage stacks he needs, but not losing the trade, coming in with a flash Q, calling out the flash of B Sharp's. B Sharp probably could have meleeed him, autoed him once, and then flashed, and it might have been a bit better because then he wouldn't have gotten hit with the tip of the blade. We do not see any killings happening around though. Just mana loss, HP loss, all sorts of resources going on the drain. Rune Mage going in on Puffin with a dash and Q, narrowly escaping that taunt. And not really any problems, so it's been pretty good overall. It looks like that Illumination is having a bit more difficulty, is a bit more aggressive than last game. We do get to see Killing Shade going in with getting the crippling blow on B Sharp, and now B Sharp has a problem. And it's Killing Shade. But we do see Rune Mage roaming up, getting a QE, and just letting him go past, as he fears the early game that Killing Shade has on Darius. Despite being low on mana, he does have the hemorrhage stacks and basic attacks with all that base damage clouding around him, and sort of like looming over them is like a fear factor, trying to scare his enemies into not wanting to fight. Just some farming going on at the moment, and honestly, these lanes are going a bit more interestingly than I thought. We do see B Sharp is not getting the safe plays that he wants, and jungle's going pretty normally, no happening. Only like 1 or 2 major ganks, and mid lane nothing's happened. But we do see that Puffin is very low on mana at this moment, and Rune Mage obviously doesn't have mana as he is Yasuo, so he doesn't have to worry about this. But now Puffin does. So Tyler pushing out that wave, trying to get that CS lead, and maybe even looking to back if he has enough gold to pick up a sword or a serrated dirk. I'm not really sure. I would assume serrated, but he might be going for Storm Razor. I'm really unsure on what they're really looking for, but it looks like Minior's doing a lot better than last game, but just like last game, it could happen again where Minior simply has a great like first 10 minutes and then it all goes downhill. And we don't want to see that happen again. Minior is going to be looking to just get the plays that they want, so that way they don't have any problems taking them down, getting the objectives that they did last game. And this game, they want to keep those objectives, especially since the first Drake is an Infernal. And Infernal Drake is pretty important overall, because despite it not being as great for their comp as it would be for Illumination, they obviously don't want Illumination to have it, and everyone gets like a little bit of a damage boost, per se. Just normal trades happening in the bottom lane. Tyler trying to pressure them with 4-shot, but not really getting as much as I said, things will be scattered all over the bottom lane. We'll see dragon eggs and feathers dropping around that can be pulled back, spawned in, and is used for high poke damage that is completely safe, and they have no fear of using. In the top lane, though, we do see that Killing Shade has picked up a Phage, and B-Sharp has opted for finishing Ninja Tabby rather than going for a Bambi Cinder or a Chain Dash. Not a bad option, since Killing Shade is relying a lot on basic attacks right now, despite recently getting his ulti, but now that might change. B-Sharp is getting better damage off these trades because of the Ninja Tabby pickup, since Killing Shade is opting for mostly auto attacks, as he is missing the Qs and the Es, not the Es, the Qs that he wants, and W is just an auto empower. However, if Killing Shade is able to rack up the stacks on B-Sharp sometime soon, he can drop an ulti and begin pressuring that lane, which would be what Minior wants. They want Killing Shade to be pressuring a lot in this game, and just trying to keep that top lane in the palm of his hand, being able to just power it up, but Puffin getting a nice dash, not getting the taunt, but he does get the taunt as Rune Mage tries to go back in, and he gets the ignite off. Rune Mage going down to a low HP, but it doesn't look like Puffin can do anything despite all that he just got. He probably shouldn't have used ignite there. This Puffin now has his abilities again, getting a nice taunt and an auto Q. Rune Mage having to flash away, igniting Puffin, looking to turn around this trade. Not getting anything off of it though. And simply resetting back to more of a neutral state where Rune Mage is stuck, and we do see Killing Shade going in, getting a medium Q rather than the tip Q that he wanted. So now Killing Shade is low on mana, and Puffin tried to go in, but Rune Mage got a sick ulti off, and now Puffin's getting ganked by Z-Mags. He might not be able to make it out of the tags, gets a good subjugate in the pillar, getting the flash chomp. He might not make it, but the very tip of that tornado smacks Puffin, and Rune Mage has taken the first blood. At 9 minutes in the game, we do see a trade in from B-Sharp going in on Killing Shade, as now Killing Shade doesn't have the mana that he's going to need for all of these trades that he's going. And we see a fight come out bot lane, the Zyra ulti completely dispersing them, and really just kind of getting that pressure they want. But as the Zyra plants do not appear, they have to sort of back off and wait for them to respawn. Grim Lobo looking to use a good route, doesn't get anything, and Temur simply having to stand back, getting looted without it meaning anything. B-Sharp, once again, getting these trades with just autos. Now that he's Ninja Tabby, he takes less damage. And Puffin, once again, trading with Rune Mage, now that they're back at full HP and that. But Vadalini getting a good ulti off, but it might not be enough, as the heal does come out from Tyler, but he has been ignited by Grim Lobo. They might be able to take out Temur here, but not before the Shen ulti comes out. The Xayah pulls back in, Galio ults in, getting the knockup, but everyone is here, just like Smash Ultimate. And now Vadalini has to run away from 5 different people that might be chasing him down. And it's likely that Vadalini just has to back here, as that tower is forced to sustain free damage that Illumination gets. And so well played by Illuminate. Just, they really abused that Minior tried to make a fight that they shouldn't have gone for. Especially since, rather than killing Grim Lobo once they saw that Jhin ulti, what they did is, not the Jhin ulti, the Xayah ulti. Instead of going for Shen ulti, I'm not talking right, okay? But what Tyler should have done there, rather than repeatedly going for Temur after, like this, oh my god. I'm just gonna go back to normal casting rather than recapping that. I'm not doing too well right now. We do see Illumination once again picking up the Drake that they want, and they're probably going to be going for what they did last game, where they just get all the Drakes and from there abuse that they have objective control. And it does look like they're in the running for first tower gold in the bottom lane, especially if Temer is able to get these pushes in. Though it might be difficult with Vandalini being able to block most of the range damage that will come in, and Tyler being able to zone people out with his giant auto range and 4-shot. Just more vision control going around, taking control wards, taking normal worlds, placing them down, all of this happening. Just trying to keep vision. They want to know what's happening in their jungle. Because if they do not, then they're going to have difficulty actually knowing what the enemy jungler is going to do. We do see Puffin in a terrible situation, charging up that taunt to get the damage reduction, but it doesn't matter as Z-Mags also shows up and gets some good plays just to close down on that kill. Giving it to B-Sharp, evening out the kills. I don't think that was really intended, but it's probably good, as now B-Sharp has the lead in his, not really the lead in his lane, but he has the gold lead in his lane. And now Illumination's kind of doing what they did last game, where Minior does all right for the first 10 minutes, and then it just goes downhill. More trades happening around, not doing much, but Grim Lobo popping the ult, but Vandalini also popping it, walking up trying to shield damage, and Vandalini does drop down while Childori is getting ignited in the middle lane, having to take a chug, not really doing much, and Rune Mage going in, getting the tornado, but it doesn't kill. B-Sharp looking for a dive, Flash ease in to kill Childori, getting right outside on Puffin's taunt range, getting hit by a Q. Will B-Sharp get out of this? And it looks like he will, as nothing is able to close down on him like the jaws of a beast. Great plays by Illumination, getting kills, and they're doing so much better than last game, having a 6-0 kill lead and a dragon advantage. Puffin trying to cause something, getting a good taunt off, but completely whiffing that Q. Oh, jeez. Minior is looking like they're a little bit tilted off of last game, and they're just dropping so many mistakes left and right that they can't do anything. And now that they've made these several mistakes, they have to bring it back, especially since the composition is not necessarily late game oriented, but more mid game oriented. We sort of reset back to a neutral state here. We get to see some of the items that have been picked up, as Vandalini takes a little bit of poke from Grim Lobo and Temer. So, Killing Shade getting a little bit of a poke damage on B-Sharp. Nothing really happening, though. But we do see a lot of movement bottom lane. Converging, trying to pincer down Illumination here. Meteor's trying to get it, but the vision that Illumination was able to get off of those few kills really just prevented anything from happening to them. We do see that both bot laners have picked up a Storm Rager, though. And they're probably going to have a similar build for a little bit. Killing Shade getting a spicy E off, but not having the mana to do instead of the Q. And now he might lose this trade, as B-Sharp is now able to just abuse that Killing Shade is out of mana and cannot use his E, Q, W, or ulti. So none of them are no longer coming to him. We still have 3 people in the bottom lane trying to pressure it. They want that first tower gold, and if they do get it, they will have complete control over objectives just like last game. And that objective control is what won them the game, but they're slowly trying to poke it down. As the Rune Mage just kind of sits at mid, Temer having to flash away from Puffin in here, but getting a triple taunt and a strong ulti by Braum on center. Jhin opens up, firing once, firing twice. Their team is dropping like flies, though. Tyler unfortunately has to run, but it doesn't look like he can get out of there, not with Rune Mage covering every corner, with a 4-0 trade in Illumination's favor, using the power that they got, and the Rift Herald pushing out mid lane, giving them first tower and another turret in the bottom lane, and likely another in the middle lane. Illumination coming in with these strong plays, they're trying to end it fast. They don't want this game to stretch out. They aren't playing around. Illumination with a devastating play right there. But the main mistakes that they made, that Minior made, was just, Puffin went too deep for that triple taunt. I'm gonna be honest. And although it was really cool, it only lasted for a few seconds, as then he just got bursted down by the Infernal Drake and the absurd gold lead that they Illumination has, as they now have control over the bottom side jungle and part of the top side jungle. They're going to be looking for the next Drake coming up here, which happens to also be another Infernal, if I'm not mistaken. And they're just, if they get a second Infernal, that might be it, actually. Just because they have such a high gold lead coming in at 9k. That's not alright. Minior needs to get it together, and soon. And if they don't, Minior's going to have major difficulties actually getting around anything. We do see that some people actually haven't even picked up boots, notably in the mid lane where neither players have it. And Vadalini not having even tier 1 boots yet, despite several people in the game having tier 2s. Really just the movement around the jungle, looking at small trades in top lane, but once again, these are two people that have pool noodles. And now they're looking to get this Drake, getting a fight. Illumination wants this fight as they have more people, more damage, but not as much tank. Z-Mags does have a good amount of tank as Trundle, and especially since his Subjugate is up, he's able to get a little bit of healing and armor reduction. It looks like Illumination's going to try and drag this out, but they might see Puffin here, and Puffin's looking to get an engage here, but he gets rooted, and the Drake just goes to them as Cloud. And now that they have wait, no, Minior took it. I didn't see that, but they do lose the fight. Oh god, that's so hurt. So the problem there was that after Childori took the Drake, the rest of Minior didn't leave. They tried to fight it, which just wasn't going to work, and Illumination's using that they have the ability to burst down quickly before Minior can even really react fast enough to get out of anything. So once again we see Illumination just taking complete control over the situation, and 18 minutes in is when Minior gets their first kill, but they not only have 0 objectives, they just lost a mid lane inhibitor, so now that lane is constantly pushing and they have to go back to it. And bottom lane is pretty close. Really what Illumination wants is to start pressuring the top side, especially with Baron spawning soon. They might be able to get it really early with their lead, being at 10,000 higher than Minior's. Just absolute amazing play by Illumination. But Meteor still can bring this back. They have the power to. What they need to do is they need to wait for Illumination to make their mistakes. They cannot just throw their bodies wildly around, because if they do that, Illumination's just going to get more kills, more gold, and that means more objectives, and eventually snowball their victory. Just some itemization here. Unfortunately, Vadalini doesn't even have a full item right now, and that's even if you were to include boots, but we do see an engage coming top. Puffin not getting anything, a strong Zyra ulti coming out by Grim Lobo, flashing in with Z-Mags, taking down Childori. The Puffin with the Galio ulti might not be able to do enough, but it can at the very least get Killing Shade out of this, but Killing Shade is looking to fight, looking for that 4-man dunk, but he's not getting it. Killing Shade might be going down to getting the dunk and taking down Z-Mags with a crazy fight. And oh no, they're going back in. Vadalini getting taken down, and overall just once again a one trade for Illumination, abusing that they have that Infernal Drake and that gold lead, now raising up to 12,000. And this has hit a point where I feel like Minior really can't do much. Minior no longer has as much of a shot as they did earlier, and they should have tried to run this back when it was 10 minutes into the game. And Minior's they're just looking at less overall well-played. Illumination's just simply outplaying them in every way possible right now. They have the pressure lead, they have objective lead, they have gold lead, and there's so many things that are going into Illumination's favor right now that Minior cannot handle it, even with the little bit that they have, as Illumination is searching for a Baron, and it looks like they're going to be going for it, and what's even worse is Minior can't contest it. The only thing they can do is have Childori go up if they had vision on it, but they can't get that vision. but Childori does look like he's staying in the area, but he won't get there in time, as now the Baron goes to Illumination's favor. And I believe that Baron just completely sealed the game for Illumination, as now they can have B-Sharp go into the top lane, split out, while the rest of their team goes middle and bot. And there's not much that Minior can do. They don't have levels, they don't have gold, they don't have vision, they don't have pressure. They lost everything in the early game that they needed, which happened pretty much the same thing last game, but Illumination just taking it to the extreme this time. They're really they're bringing up the big guns. They're not giving me any shots, which is really powerful by them. And I don't think Media's just not going to be able to do much here. Having a whopping 14,000 gold lead in Illumination's favor, which might be increasing soon as we do see pressure from the top lane by 4 members while B-Sharp goes bot and tries to distract some people. Minior's looking to possibly get a pincer and kill B-Sharp at the bottom lane while the Childori, Killing Shade, and Puffin try to defend. But I'm not sure they can do that as Tyler is now going up to the top lane and Vadalini is also about to go up there with him. B-Sharp now is free reign in the bottom lane and is likely going to get a tower here with he is Baron, and the Baron minions just have more tank, more damage, and having a champion there just makes it even stronger because now we have the damage coming out from B-Sharp. We do see some people going down bottom, Killing Shade and Puffin trying to take him out, but that's probably a poor decision to defend those two, as Killing Shade is a main damage source. Well, a little bit of damage they have, and Puffin is their main tank. So in the top lane, we see a fight breaking out, Illumination abusing that everyone has left, and then Tyler is left alone at half HP, trying to defend, forced to run back into the fountain. We see Puffin ulting back, but it looks like that this is it. Jin opening up, firing the shots, but not doing any damage, as he doesn't have the power to do so. He doesn't have the execute, not the levels, not the damage, and Illumination takes the Nexus down with an overwhelming, fast victory. Great play by Illumination there. Wow, that spectator bug is really annoying. That is it for this playoffs. And we do see Illumination taking down Minior with a 2-0 lead. And going on to the next set, they're going to do great. Minior could have done so much better that game. They did about everything wrong. But from here on, Illumination moves on, and I am signing off.